it's Yaya. Tonight we're going to be making taco cups. It takes about 30 to 45 minutes to make and it's really easy to make at home. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to heat up the meat. So I'm going to turn the stove onto in between a low and a medium, and then I have a pound of meat and I'm just going to put it on like that. So now we're just going to break it up and we're going to leave it on the stove until it's browned. So now I'm just going to let it sit for a minute so it'll start to brown, and then I'll keep mixing it up. I'm going to start mixing it again. I'm going to turn up the temperature a little bit to just below the medium. So we don't need to add any extra seasonings like salt or pepper because we'll have seasoning that we're going to add to it later. While this is browning, I'm going to turn it back down a little bit. We need 6 large tortillas, large flour tortillas, and I'm going to go cut them in cubes. I'm going to cut off the edges to make a nice square. And usually we take these scraps that you see, the edges that I'm cutting off, and we use them as dog treats. They like them very much. So if you have dogs and you need some cheap treats for leftovers or anything, these work pretty well. And then I'm just going to cut it down the middle. And then I'm going to take a cut right here, horizontally, down the vertical line we just cut. And then you get these little squares. Now the meat's almost done. It just needs like a couple more minutes. See how there's still some pink in it? We don't want any pink in it because if you eat the pink, it's not good for you. So we want it completely brown. So now the meat is brown, so I'm going to turn off the stove and I'm going to take the meat to the sink. And in the sink I have a strainer and I have one of our dog's dog bowls so that I can, instead of having it going down the sink into the drain, I have it being used for dogs because they like the taste. Want to make sure that there's no juices left because we don't need the juices. See how it's in the bowl down there instead of in the sink? That's what we want. Now we're going to take this medium-sized glass bowl over to the sink so I can put the meat into the glass bowl. So, because what we're going to do next is we're going to mix everything together. So now we have this ground beef taco sauce, and I'm going to use pretty much the whole thing. It's not a powder, like it says, it's a sauce. So I'm going to not going to force it out, I'm just going to let it kind of come out because we don't want to use too much, but just letting it come out like that is perfect. Now we're going to take our handy dandy spoon and we're going to mix in the sauce. And we're also going to add about 4 ounces of green chilies. They can be chopped or diced. And we're just going to dump them in and mix those into it as well. Okay, so now I'm going to preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, I'm going to take this 12-cup muffin pan and I'm going to take cooking spray and spray it into the cups over the sink. So it should look like this. Now I'm going to take this muffin pan and I'm going to move it over to where I cut the tortillas. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the tortillas and I'm going to press it in to the bottom of the cup. And I'm just gonna do that to all of these. Okay, so now you should have used up exactly 2 stacks of tortillas to fill up the cups in the muffin pan. Next, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take about a spoonful of meat and I'm just gonna place it into the bottom of each one of the tortilla cups. And if you're not going to use up all this meat, so you want to make sure you have enough to do 2 layers. Because we're going to add some cheese to this, and then we're going to add another layer of tortilla meat, and the last layer will be cheese on the top. So make sure you have enough meat to do 2 layers. So for this part, we're just going to add the cheese we have in our fridge, which is Munster cheese and Colby cheese. So for this particular part, I'm gonna add the Munster, so it's cut up into these little cubes. You could do shredded cheese, you could do any other type of cheese you want. And I'm just gonna press it in like this. Now we're gonna finish off these 2 stacks of tortillas, and we're just going to place it over the cheese and the meat. Like that, again. And we're gonna do the same thing to all 12 of these cups. Okay, now I'm going to add the rest of this meat, or as much of it as I can, to the tops of these. And after that, I have these slices of Colby cheese that I'm gonna put on top of the meat. You're just gonna do about the same size, and I would do a little less to start this, and then whenever, to make sure you have enough of it so that you don't run out, just in case you accidentally put too much or we didn't make enough. It's just a precaution. Okay, so that's it for the meat. Now I'm gonna take these slices of Colby cheese and just set it on top. In this blue cup, I have olive oil, and I'm gonna take this baster and I'm gonna dip it into the olive oil, and I'm gonna spread it along the edges of the tortillas, like so. So now I'm gonna put it into the oven for about 20 minutes. And you should check it a little bit before 20 minutes because sometimes it tends to be done a little quicker and sometimes it doesn't. So it just depends on how they're feeling that day. Now they've been in for 20 minutes. And this is what they should look like when they're done. The edges of the tortilla should be a little crisp to the touch. So we're going to take them out now. Okay, so now I'm going to take them out and set them on a cooling rack so that they're ready to eat. And so if you have little ones running around or smaller children and you don't want them to burn themselves taking it out because the pan's hot, it's a lot easier. Okay, and voila, your finished product of the taco cups. There you go, you're getting your bloopers. And 1, 2, 3, action! Okay, so now I'm gonna I don't know what I'm preheating it to. C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. Nope, not good. I'm actually getting good at this. What do I say? Like, how do I say that? We're gonna like, what is this called? I don't know what this is called. It's called brush. I need this. See, this is where music comes in handy. Loud and be like, wow. And like, you're gonna break it
Use
up
your
around
words.
the meat, and you're gonna break it up and take 2. Okay. So next, I'm gonna shake. I said shake. This muffin pan that has this 12-cup muffin pan. That's what I'm gonna say. Now I'm gonna take this 12-cup muffin. I don't know what that was. Just a 12-cup muffin pan. I'm gonna keep it on the stove until it's browned. How about that? Why did I have to say that I was getting good at this? Yes, no. You're welcome, IBC.